The Chronicles of the Rio Bravo, Chapter 0. Lucilo, the one who walks without a shadow. There were still corners of the world where silence could breathe. Lucilo arrived with a banana in his satchel and the intention to listen, not with his ears, but with his soul. He sat on the sand, warm like an altar, and instead of peeling the fruit, he broke it in half. What he found inside wasn't mashed pulp. It was spirals, glowing spheres in a spiral pattern, golden drawings hidden in the flesh of an ordinary banana. The Fibonacci sequence growing inside the fruit. In that humble moment, he understood that the universe wasn't only found in telescopes, but also in a simple banana and in an open heart under the sun. But the revelation didn't last. The roar of a dune buggy, its open exhaust bellowing, its tires ripping through the sand, shattered the sacred instant. The noise drowned everything like the mocking laughter of the future. The machine didn't even glance at him as it passed, leaving behind dust, fuel, and dissonance. Lucilo didn't run. He stood and walked away slowly. The road out of Boca Chica is half sand, half memory. A thin scar of asphalt running west, where the Gulf exhales over the land. Calmly, Lucilo guides his old pickup onto the highway, windows down, the salty air drying the last sweat from his forehead. The dream of Tridex doesn't exist yet. The only rockets here are fireworks on the 4th of July and tales whispered by men with fishing hooks on their hats. Behind him, the dunes close ranks, erasing his footprints the way the past always tries to do. Lucilo drives slowly. There's no hurry here. He leaves the edge of the world at the only pace the world allows him. The radio plays Tejano songs, half swallowed by static, fading in and out like ghosts. From time to time, a preacher tries to save the valley through the dashboard. Lucilo only smiles. He's been saved and lost more times than he can count. One always knows what's left behind, but never what waits ahead. The plain stretches out, flat and endless, broken only by canals, power lines, and stray cattle. He catches himself looking in the mirror, searching for what? Shadows, spirits, or maybe Macrina, waving from somewhere among the mesquite. Ahead, Brownsville emerges from the haze, neon lights barely flickering to life. The smell of hot tortillas and car exhaust, river mud, and carne asada mixes in the air. The border feels close, more palpable than ever. Lucilo lets the pickup purr at the edge of town for a moment. One more breath. Then he shifts gears and heads toward the lights, feeling the slow pull of the river and whatever waits on the other side. The old engine trembles. The radio fades in and out. The world itself seems to blur as sunset slips into night. Brownsville's streets entangle him like a fisherman's net. Traffic lights that take too long, pawn shops with fogged glass, and a caravan of lowriders cruising under neon that seen better days. Lucilo doesn't belong here, not entirely. He rolls on slowly, one elbow hanging out the window, watching the old men in taquerias and the women carrying laundry baskets bigger than small cars. A sweet smell reaches him. Maybe cinnamon, maybe just the memory of mornings in Matamoros. Following the riverbank, the air thickens. He follows the old signs, the ones pointing toward the bridge like a finger impossible to ignore. He stops only once before crossing, his heart pounding as if about to do something irreversible. The checkpoint is there, as always. Customs officers leaning against a car hood, sweating through their khaki shirts, eyeing Lucilo's truck with a mix of boredom and suspicion. He hands over his identification, the old-fashioned kind, wrinkled paper, nothing plastic, no barcodes. A question or two, a sideways glance. And then that sound, the stamp, the barrier creaking as it rises. He drives forward, tires humming and crunching over the bridge that divides two countries, but not two worlds. Below, the river flows slow and brown, carrying secrets and the laughter of children who never learned to fear the water. On the other side, Matamoros glimmers. Lucilo returns to the place where his bones remember every corner, every wall scribbled with names he once knew. Tonight, he doesn't stop in the city. He follows the call, the old magic, the river's logic. He takes the coastal road east. The air turns sharp, salty, wild. The road narrows, sand creeping in little by little, the sky opening, streaked with stars. In the distance, the gulf whispers, and the taste of the sea clings to his tongue. Playa Lauro Villar, a thin strip of beach where the land surrenders to the water and stories drift together like floating wood. At the entrance to the beach stands Don Caiman's shack. Lucilo pulls the truck aside, the engine dropping into a slow idle. What's up, viejo? You selling bait here, or just philosophy? Depends. You here to fish, or to waste time like the rest of the loafers? Maybe a little of both. I'm looking for something, but I don't know if I should catch it, trap it, or dream it. Around here, everything worth having comes first, in dreams. Still, I'll sell you shrimp or sardines if you want. I'm not looking for bait. I'm looking for answers. Then grab a couple beers since you're standing there, and tell me what you've heard about up north along the Rio Grande. Folks say strange things happen. Strange? Strange is the river changing direction when no one's watching. Strange is men like you still showing up, looking for answers where there's only water-soaked questions. Then, I'm in the right place, because I'm full of questions and dry to the bone. That's what the sea is for, to soak what you're carrying dry. Careful what you're looking for. It might find you first, and you ever find what you were looking for? I don't look for anything, kid. I just wait for the sea to give it back. The old man tosses a tangled hook onto the bench and jerks his chin toward the cooler. They sit in silence, drinking beer, the light fading from orange to indigo. Far off, a seabird cries. Lucilo leans against the post of the shack, hat pulled low over his face. The buzz of the beer and the long day rock him into sleep. Caiman hums softly as he cleans his hooks. In his dream, the wind blows cold and dry. From the shadows steps La Garza Descarada, worn jeans, half-open linen shirt, a mask dangling from one wing. He throws Lucilo a sidelong glance. Not yet, compadre? But soon. The river's waiting for you. Then the heron faded. Only the distant drums and the breeze in the palms remained. The first pale light of dawn brushed the sand. Lucilo woke with the sun. The shack was empty. Caiman had already gone fishing. He stood, stretched, shaking off the dream. Damn, what was that? He muttered. He grabbed his things, shook the sand from his boots, and headed toward Matamoros and Brownsville. In Brownsville, he stopped for breakfast before school. There, he ran into a friend. I don't think it's a coincidence you're here today, Lucilo. Last night, Lucilo said, I dreamed of a place beyond, out in the scrub by the northern river, with someone or something. I don't know if I'm searching or just waiting, but I saw a lot of peyote. Doesn't your grandmother know about these things? My grandmother talked a lot about that land, Miguel said. She used to say there are things you only understand by walking them. Miguel dropped the clue. His grandmother knew the old peyote trails. They decide to ditch school, heading west on US 83, cutting through the dry Texas brush. An hour on the road, almost empty except for ranch trucks and old cars. Miguel is relaxed, cracking jokes, but he knows the land and its spiritual weight. Lucilo stays quiet, still processing his strange night at the beach. About an hour or so, Miguel says, as long as the ranchers or the border patrol don't stop us. With you riding shotgun, Lucilo, not even the ghosts will see us. What's out there then? A magic field or what? No, dude. Just dry brush lizards, snakes, and if you're lucky, peyote. But it's not the land that changes. It's you. Look at that. Even the radio knows where we're going. Through miles of mesquite, fences, and fallen signs, Miguel points toward the distant hills. Out in Star County, the old folks used to go there to look for answers, but no one gives them to you. The land just listens, if you speak clearly. Finally, they turn onto a dirt road, dust rising behind the truck. Miguel kills the engine near a dry creek. The air burns, the sun low in the sky. He points to the ground, where the first peyotes barely peek through dust and stone. Miguel's face turns serious. We don't come here to steal from the land. We come to ask permission. He teaches Lucilo how to recognize peyote by its discrete shape, its bluish-green color. With a small knife, he cuts only the crowns, leaving the root alive to grow again. He brushes the loose dirt back with respect. Today, you just watch. If you want to feel the land, you have to come alone. That's how it works. For me, Lucilo nods, feeling the weight of the words. The next day, Lucilo returns alone. The truck bounces from highway to rough ranch road, leaving a trail of dust. He parks by a dry creek where the ground looks untouched, ancient. He steps out slowly. The sun hangs low. The dry air hums as if vibrating. He walks, not guided by memory, but by something deeper, a pull in his chest. The wind stills. The cicadas fall silent. Half hidden under dry branches and stones, he sees it. An old peyote, scarred by past cuts. Its ribs worn. Its color grayish, almost like the soil itself. Lucilo stops. In his heart, he knows this is the one. The silence is heavy, as if the earth were holding its breath. He hesitates a moment. Then, in the wind, he feels a silent yes. He kneels. He cuts carefully, leaving the root alive. He bows his head in gratitude, eats it raw, bitter, earthy, sacred. Every bite tastes like the history of the world. A low hum grows, like a heartbeat. The sky splits with light, though the sun still hangs low. Cicadas throb in the same rhythm. The hum becomes a pulse. Lucilo moves step by step until he reaches a hidden clearing. A pit, ringed with blackened stones, ancient, silent. The air above shimmers. The cicadas fall mute. The world stops. The well glows like moonlight underwater. From the depths, figures emerge. 3 blurred silhouettes, faces painted with old Huastec designs. They don't speak, but their thoughts cut through him. Permission was asked. Gratitude was given. You may enter. The pulse pounds, shaking the ground beneath his knees. The light shifts. A tall figure rises, not climbing, but unfolding from the glow. La Garza Descarada, sharp features, eyes of liquid metal, a feather shining on his chest. You've tasted the old paths, boy, but this isn't about eating buttons. The river wants you to listen. Lucilo swallows hard, speechless. The heron tilts his head. A sad smile slices the silence. Sit. Watch. True vision hurts before it heals. Lucilo leans over the well. The surface turns into a black mirror, stars rippling across it. A flash strikes him like a stolen memory. A storm sky ripped open by green lightning. A winged figure battles a massive shadow beast. Golden light flaring. Wounded, blood dripping from his hands. I can hold the beast, but only for a moment. A scream like shattering glass tears the air. The disc is hurled. Fragments of green light bursting upward, scattering across the dark expanse. Forgive me, The words echo, warped by time. For an instant, blazing eyes lock onto Lucilo's, burning with regret. Then everything collapses into darkness. Lucilo stumbles, clawing the earth, pulled back from the edge. The Indians remain silent, heads bowed. The heron watches calmly. You've seen the beginning of the story. Falcor's sin is the reason you're here. But don't fool yourself. That was only a hologram. He returns to his truck to leave. His hands tremble on the wheel. The peyote's glow still burns in his blood. The Chevy growls, swallowing the dirt road. The two-lane highway to Rio Grande opens empty, lined with ghostly billboards, twisted mesquites, and chaparral shimmering in the early sun's mirage. The vision haunts him. Cryptic symbols flare for a moment on the windshield, vanishing when he blinks. A swirl of cinnamon. A coyote crosses the road. Maybe an omen. 20 minutes later, Lucilo rolls into Rio Grande. The border town wakes. Vendors setting up stalls, children running. The air smells of sweet bread and diesel. Crossing the bridge feels unreal, like slipping through an invisible membrane. Lucilo watches the river, the water too still, too aware. Customs barely notice him. A nod, a hand waving him through. As soon as his tires touch Mexican soil, the peyote's hum rises again, as if something were waiting on that side. The road narrows into dusty trails, bordered by mesquites and scattered cornfields. Macrina's house is simple, adobe walls, a shaded porch. Smoke drifts lazily from the chimney. She's sweeping or feeding the chickens, but she stops cold when she sees him, as if she'd been expecting him. Words aren't needed. A shared silence is enough. She invites him to sit on the porch. The smell of fresh tortillas, café de olla with cinnamon, maybe nopales or eggs with chorizo sizzling inside. They step into the kitchen. She serves him beans from the pot and warm tortillas. Her movements are calm, deliberate, like someone who knew he would arrive. Lucilo eats in silence. Macrina watches him, reading his energy. After a few bites, she breaks the silence, her voice soft but firm. They sent you back, didn't they? It's not your time yet, is it? Lucilo looks up. What? You saw him, didn't you? She answers, without hesitation. The grandfather. The cactus spoke. He listened, Lucilo replies timidly. I think so. Macrina nods, as if everything were already resolved. She gets up and goes to the other room. After a moment, she returns with a small metal box. She sets it on the table carefully, as if placing something alive. It's been waiting for you. Keep it just as it is. Don't change the place where it sleeps until it calls you. Lucilo opens the box. The feather catches the light, a living flash. Maybe it hums faintly, like distant radio static. The metal smells of herbs and ash, as if Macrina had placed protective leaves to keep it silent. I kept it quiet all these years, she says, hidden, asleep, but it was never mine. It was always for the one who could listen and understand. Your grandfather had it, then your father. Both of them were lost to Ansor. It came back to me. The feather wasn't for them, it's for you. She fixes her eyes on him, her expression firm. Keep it safe. Don't change its place until it calls you. When it hums, you'll know what to do. The sun kisses the feather, shining like something alive. Lucilo sits in silence, gripping the tin box. After a good nap, Lucilo drove back to Texas before noon. The feather hidden under the truck seat. The next day, Lucilo went to school, trying to act normal in art class. Lucilo, you look like you're 1,000 miles away, Ricky, his teacher said, leaning on the desk. Lucilo hesitated. Then he blurted out, the peyote. The visions. Macrina. Ricky listened without judgment, a faint smile on his face. Macrina, huh? My mom knows people like her. Maybe she can help you understand your mom? Lucilo asked, unconvinced. Yeah. Come with me this weekend to Kingsville. We'll visit her. Lucilo thought of the feather, of his grandfather. Maybe that was the next step. All right, he answered. The house in Kingsville was modest, shaded by pecan trees. Ricky's mother greeted them warmly. His wife carried their baby girl, barely 2 years old, chubby and curious. The air smelled of hamburgers. Lucilo felt out of place, quiet, while Ricky chatted with his mother. Then the door opened. A hippie girl with long hair and beads walked in, smiling. Hey, Ricky. I brought the good stuff, she said, flashing a small packet. You're a saint, Ricky replied. The girl glanced at Lucilo. You're quiet, huh? This'll loosen your tongue and wash your head. She handed him the little paper. I'm off, but I'll be back later, she said casually, slipping out the door. She never returned. Night fell. The Kingsville house sank into silence. Only distant crickets. The mother had left on a sudden trip. She was a psychology professor at the university. Lucilo lay back on a cot, the acid already buzzing in his veins. The room pulsed, bending at the corners. Ricky and a friend laughed quietly while his wife rocked the baby, murmuring soft words. Suddenly, Lucilo couldn't move. He was awake, but paralyzed. The walls glowed. A sound rose. Not in the room, but inside him. Voices. We could keep him, said one. No, he still has too much to do, answered another. Send him back and see how he manages. Lucilo tried to speak, but his body was frozen. Ricky and his wife dabbed his face with a wet cloth, whispering to calm him. The voices slowly faded. Hours later, he was walking outside. The professor guided him under the stars in the garden. The air was new, charged. Suddenly the wife stopped. Her expression was no longer her own. Her voice changed, firmer, clearer. I am your teacher. I came for you. I'll stay a few days. You will always have what you need for your path. Ricky blinked, uneasy. Who are you? He asked. She smiled faintly. Call me whatever you like. Ricky glanced at Lucilo, nervous. Mac. Let's call her Mac. The woman shook her head gently. No, I am Giovanni. Call me Giovanni, she repeated, calm and firm. The silence grew heavy. Lucilo felt the feather vibrating in his chest, though it was far away, hidden under the truck seat. The air smelled of pecan and wet earth. A dog barked in the distance, punctuating the scene. Lucilo breathed deep, slowly, with the certainty of someone who knows life has just changed forever. He understood that everything he had lived so far, the banana, the sea, the peyote, the visions, were only the first chords of something greater. The night kept its secret.